Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back. Sport Vitamins is back. After a long summer break, I'm here for season 3 of my podcast. So many things happened during the summer. I got married. Uh, Last year, I became a father of my beautiful daughter, Amra. Me and my wife decided to move back to Italy, and I've become the head strength coach of Brescia basketball, an Italian first division basketball team. Uh, Indeed, now I'm in my hotel room waiting for our first season game. We're gonna play in a few hours. Hopefully, it's gonna be a good game. So, Sport Vitamins is back, and our first guest is a special guest. His name is Navin Hettiarachchi, and he has over 20 years of experience working with NBA, WNBA, and then NFL teams. He traveled across the United States and across the world to learn and train under some of the best physical therapists, chiropractors, and osteopaths, and has earned multiple certifications such as Advanced Sports Rehabilitation and Certification Spinal Manual Therapy, and also Postural Restoration Institute. So, without further ado, here's the first episode of season 3 with Navin Hettiarachchi.
Perfect.
Navin, welcome on the show.
Thank you so much, Roberto. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be connected with you.
So thanks for taking the time today. First of all, I want to start with a big shout out to a friend that we have in common, Isaac Jenkins. Thanks, Isaac, for making this happen.
Absolutely. Isaac is a friend and an incredible human being. A quick, funny story. So, we visited Italy last year, and it was summertime, off season, and we were in Florence. I ran into Isaac in Florence. Like, what are the chances? So we are meant to be friends with friends.
Yeah, it's a super small word.
Yeah.
So Isaac always speaks highly of you. He told me so many things. So why don't we start with your background?
So really, the background goes all the way back into Sri Lanka. That's where I really started. I went to school until eighth grade in Sri Lanka. I came to America to start high school. Um, in 1991, so about what, like 40 years ago, 30 years ago? Yeah, 30 years ago, 1991. And then I came to America, really spoke no English. So in high school, I took English as my subject. It's called here, it's called ESL, English for Secondary Language. So I took that. And then, no one in my family has gone to college. And really, the ultimate goal in my family was to go to college. So I passed high school, I finished high school, and then I went to college. But I didn't realize when you go to college, you have to study a major and pick a major. So, Roberto, I went to college without knowing any of that because, first of all, in high school, I was just barely trying to survive and learn English. I had a full time job. I was working in a restaurant, cooking, cleaning dishes. And at the same time, I was training for track and field to get a scholarship to go to college. So I was kind of juggling three things. And go to college. My first day in college, they're like, hey, you have to pick a subject to study. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you have to pick a major. Had no idea. So sitting down with my guidance counselor, I'm looking at accounting, business, math, English, go down, go down. Like, no, history, no, blah, 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 going down. Almost to the end, I saw sports medicine. I didn't even know what medicine was, but I understood sports and I clicked it. And I think that's the best click that I ever did in my life. So I go to school for 4 years. Then everything that I study in sports medicine was like, oh, I get it. I get it. I understand it easy. I'm like, why can't other students get this? Because it's super easy. At the same token, I was struggling to get a C in history, art, all the other classes where I'm getting A plus plus in sports medicine. So I knew, this is something that I'm meant to do. This is something that I was guided by higher beings out there. So as soon as I graduated from college, I got a job with the football team in Washington, D.C., American football, Washington Redskins. And for everyone who's listening out there, it sounded like I just got a job, but before the job, I had, Roberto, 90 letters of no, 90 letters of rejection. So, you just keep sending it. I got a job there. Then 2 years later, my boss, who's the director of sports medicine, got fired and the coach got fired. You know what that is? You know how that is. That means, everyone in the staff got let go. I got let go. Then, obviously I'm in Washington, D.C. and I applied for Washington visits. No job, nothing. I just sent him a letter saying, hey, I'm very interested in coming and working with you. I just got let go by the Redskins. And they were like, you know what? We don't have a job, but you could come in and we'll create something. And that was 17 years ago. And I retired last year. So that's my journey. So I'm really doing the same thing now. So I retired from the NBA after my 17th year as the director of health, wellness, and performance. What that means is that in a day, I could come in, I could do acupuncture on somebody's neck, adjust somebody's chiropractic on their back, do some osteopathic work on their leg, do some training in the gym with some deadlifting, tape their ankle and get them to practice. And then during practice, I'll look at their blood work, their sleep pattern, their urine, for their food sensitivity. So everything that has to do with performance, health, and wellness. And so that's what I do now. When people they want to have surgeries or they want to permanent surgeries, I go to their home, their cities, and help them, assist them in, last year I helped, 3 to 4 players in the NBA get away from surgeries when they go to the doctor, the first doctor, the second doctor, the third doctor, they say, hey, surgery, surgery, surgery. I go there and see, okay, what are we missing? Because not everything needs a surgery, right? When a doctor sees a nail, they want to hammer it. So I look at through a different lens and figure out, is it their stomach? Is it their joint? Is it their tissue? Is it the inflammation? So figure that out and then help the patient. So that's what I'm doing now. So that's my journey here.
What an amazing journey, Navin. So as you said, you really have an holistic approach to performance. So I'm really curious to know, what's your thought process when it comes to screening an athlete? Let's say, can you walk us through the very first screening that you do with an athlete on day one?
And I think that's really, so with my experience, I kind of like narrowed it down to simplicity. Okay. So simplicity is when I see the athlete in front of me, sitting down, laying down, I want to know, are they a human being? What I mean is that when we come out of a mom at 1 month, 1 day, we are humans. Then as we get older, we don't become human beings. We are compensated and compromises. What I mean is that the way that we breathe get compensated, compromised. Could be the first day, right? Then the way that our teeth get affected, the way we breathe, the way our facial structure get affected. Then we don't sleep well. Then when we don't sleep well, we don't recover well. Then all of a sudden we have tension through work or relationship, or we might not get sleep because of the iPhone. So I go back and figure out how close or what are they lacking as a human being. Can they squat? Can they crawl? How's their digestion? How's their breathing? Are they detoxifying? That means that are they going to the bathroom 1 to 2 times? I know so many people, I'm sure there's so many people listening that they might not go to the bathroom every day, right? That means they're not detoxifying. That means they're very toxic inside. That means they cannot be performance. All of us are performers, basketball performers, music performers, our moms are performers, carpenters, firefighters, everybody's a performer. If you're retired, you still want to perform at your best. So I try to come in and see this car. I call this, all of us human beings, a car. How does this car function? Does the car have all the tire pressure accurate? Is the engine working well? The transmission fluid working well? So figuring out the nuances of a human being. So when I look at it, I look at the person's teeth, vision, neck, joints, blood work, stool, urine. I talk to them as a human being. I want to know what they're thinking, what's inside that, because that's the biggest indicator, right? as you know, Roberto, if an athlete is 100% healthy, but if they're terrified of getting injured, or if they're terrified of the gym floor, they're going to get hurt, right? That means they're not going to perform as the best. So the head, the conversational point matters. So I really look at every single part, and I call it a 360-degree approach, and I call it a thumbprint, right? You have a different thumbprint, I have a different thumbprint, Isaac Jenkins has a different thumbprint. So I want to address that thumbprint and figure out how can I make the best version of you, Roberto, not LeBron James, not Tom Brady, not Ronaldo, the best version of Roberto. So that's when somebody in front of me, that's what I want to make sure that we make sure that person have all the tools and the body is functioning, body and mind is functioning as a normal human being.
That's a very interesting approach. I remember one thing that stuck in my mind when I first listened to you on a podcast, on Informed Performance podcast. I was listening to it like it was 3 or 4 months ago. I was in Jerusalem back then. I was riding the bike after, let's say, a tough night out with our head coach. And you were talking about a player reporting to feel stiff every time he would eat, after eating a cheesecake, for example. And I was like, okay, I'm here on the bike, sweating out because I had to sweat out after yesterday. And probably this is the reason why I feel stiff today. And that's a great approach.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of us, you, me, our athletes have in our society with this thing right here, right? Especially this thing, we have a tiger chasing us. We are in a threat, right? So the phone is a threat. Then we have a threat of work, family, right? IG, all of that threat. So we're in a fight or flight. So we need to get, it's good to have threat sometimes, right? Where our ancestors, the tiger chased them maybe once a week, one time a day, but then they could go back and to relax and calm, right? If the tiger's constantly chasing, think about that. You won't be able to go to sleep if somebody's if coming to kill you every single day. Imagine the inflammation, imagine the cortisol level high all the time. But that's what we are. Our cortisol curve is flipped. We are constantly driving cortisol. That bringing our testosterone down, increase the estrogen. So because of what's going on around us, around the world, it's really making us unhealthy. But that's what the society is. So that means your gas tank in your car has a huge leak all the time. It's leaking. So that means we got to put gas in all the time in order for us to drive. So my job is to figure out the leaks, some of the leaks that we can help, right? It could be a bad girlfriend or bad Wi-Fi or bad something at home that we can fix. That means they're leaking every day. But that means when they're in front of us or around us, we need to help them put more gas in the a way of getting more gas in the gas tank, so they have more gas so they could drive more.
How do you make sure to have a daily genuine conversation with your athletes to find out more about all these problems that can happen during their lives?
Absolutely, Roberto. That's the basic foundation. We talked about basic human needs. Having a conversation with our athletes will tell us exactly what to treat, how to treat, where to treat, what to do. Just listen. We got two eyes to pay attention, 2 ears to listen. Do that, and they will guide us where to go. And more that we listen, more that we hear, all of a sudden you're just getting all these things to help them. And again, remember, we are here to help them, right? So when you see, watch, hear, listen, touch, it's magical. We don't even have to think, because again, they're giving us everything that we need to do. And that's more powerful than we are thinking and we are doing.
What's that one question, like your go-to question when you meet the athlete in the morning?
Good morning. What's up? Good morning. Like friends, family, right? Like, What do you do to your wife, right? You know, like just make them feel comfortable, welcome. You're here for them. Start with a smile, start with a hand around them, you know. That's yeah, just be there to support and help. I mean, every athlete that's come to me there, it's my mom, my sister, my brother, my wife. You know, like that's how I treat them.
Great, I like it. I do something similar every day. I ask them, first of all, how are you doing, and how does your body feel? Do you have soreness? Did you sleep well last night? And based on those answers, and it takes really 30 seconds, maybe a little bit more, but no more than 1 minute. Based on those simple questions that I do and their answers, I can tell my coaching staff, listen, this guy is ready to go. Listen, this guy maybe needs to rest today. And also I know how to approach them, maybe also the day after. Hey, for example, how's the problem that you had back at home yesterday going today? How do you feel today about it? And so on. That's crucial. To have a genuine conversation with your athletes is crucial.
Absolutely. Like you said, then you're gonna ask them like, hey, how's your problem at home? So was it tough to sleep? Like you don't even ask about sleep, but they give you all, they're gonna fill up all the blanks. You know, they're like, yeah, I was up late, blah, blah. Like you're like, okay, I'm hearing it. You know, then you could tomorrow you could be like, oh, you were up 2 nights ago. How was it? Are you sleeping any better? Is it better? Like these are authentic conversations, right? Not only you're helping their physical body, but mental body, because we need a bliss body. What I mean by bliss body, we need physical 100%, mental 100%. When you put those together, it becomes a bliss body. If you have mental 100%, could be a monk, could be a yoga teacher, but we know they're physically not good, right? Or we could have a physical 100%, a great athlete, but we know their mental is not good. So it's not a balanced scale. In order to have a bliss body, in order for us to vibrate, have that the light around us, like the Jesus, the Buddha, right? We need to have a balance of both, not only a balance of both, high level of both.
Navin, I would like to go back to something that we touched earlier, like nutrition and inflammation. Let's say we find out that one of our players has some inflammation due to some food. How do you make sure to change the habit of this player, and how long usually does it take to change the eating habits of an athlete?
I love your word, habit. Everything is a habit, right? Either you're a cigarette smoker or not cigarette smoker. Um, 99% of our day is driven by subconscious. You put toothpaste in your toothbrush this morning, you tied your shoelaces, you drove, you didn't think, subconscious. Okay, so these are habits, these are patterns that subconscious. So Roberto, when we do the nutrition profile, first we got to figure out what foods are they sensitive to, okay, and what foods are they're allergic to. So we do a food sensitivity, we can do a gut sensitivity. Then we know these foods, right? Say, let's pick a food, say dairy or almond. Say they have a high stress threshold in their gut, and there's food sensitivity. So we know that's causing inflammation. I think first of all, we got to educate the athlete, okay? Like, hey, this is what's causing the inflammation. When you take the food out, you won't have any inflammation in your knee. You'll be able to run. You won't have any injuries. Not only are you injuring the knee because of the swelling there, you might be injuring your left shoulder because you're trying to compensate, or because of the swelling there, you're not sleeping well. That means you cannot process the game well. Maybe that's why you are missing free throws. Okay, so we just got to tie in. We just draw it out on the whole board. Then let's go back to the subconscious. Subconscious is that maybe he have a milk every single morning. Okay, that's his thing. That's why he's getting inflammation every morning. Okay, now we educate them. Then we gotta guide them with milk. What can we do to substitute for milk? Could it be raw milk, right? Could it be a different brand of milk? Could it be a cashew milk, almond milk? Could it be not having milk? So something that I learned from my wife is that she always said, don't keep on selling the problem. Let's bring a solution. Like, what's the solution? Help me. You know, give me a solution. Don't say this is broken, this is not working, blah, 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 10 problems. Okay, I'm lost. You know, come up with a solution, help me. So let's come up with a solution, not one, let's give them 5 options. So we make them foolproof. I think that's the best way to get the smoker from not smoking. They're smoking, they already know it's bad for them. They're smoking because they're missing something. So how can we get into their subconscious and show them that you already know it's not good? What is that you're smoking for? Socialization or what is it? So let's figure that out.
Got it. And is it a slow process to change these habits?
No, I think let's go back to smoking. Some people quit in one day when they realize the picture of the lungs, right? They won't be able to see the grandkids. Some people it's a slow process. Um, I think it varies from person to person. Some people will never change. They're like, okay, I don't care. I want to smoke. My dad smoked. He's hiding and smoking. So it just kind of varies from person to person. Again, some people are just one day. Spontaneous healing, like just like an injury, right? Like people heal from cancer spontaneously. That one day is all subconscious, all mental, all within us. So we got to be the guides.
Got it. Very interesting. As you said, it's all mental. So I have another question. How do you help your athletes to get their mind right before practices, before games, before the season starts?
Um, it's every day. It's like brushing our teeth. Yesterday they missed 7 free throws, so they're struggling mentally. We know that. You and I know that missing free throws and missing shot is all mental, right? Because they could shoot 50 free throws in a row, and then when they go to the game, they can't shoot 1 free throw in a row, right? So we know that it's mental. Everything in life is mental. Walking on fire is mental. Taking your teeth out without any anesthesia is mental. Pain is mental. So having a conversation every day about, hey, that trap bar deadlift is nothing. It's 350 pounds, but think of it as a feather and lift it, right? Like having a conversation every day about how our mind is stronger than what we think, and what we tell our mind is what's really affecting on the court. Because if you go to the free throw line and say, hey, I'm the best free throw shooter in this world, I'm going to make 100 in a row, you're going to make 100 in a row. If you go to the free throw line and say, oh my God, the score's tied, I missed 7 yesterday, I'm scared, well, you're not going to make it, right? If you're going to jump off of something, if you're going to jump to a box, you're not going to say, I'm scared. You're going to jump. You're just going to do it. And that's mental. We are telling ourselves a story. Everything is life a story. What we tell ourselves is what we're going to manifest. So if you want to lift that trap bar deadlift, you got to say, I'm going to go and lift it. If you don't even say something, if just the fact that you went there to lift it, that means you trust and believe. Just as a free throw, you got to trust and believe it's going to go in. So show them everything that they do, it's just a carry on conversation every single day, and we just stacking it, we're building up.
Another important thing is to teach them how to be present in the moment. A lot of time you have athletes that are actually there in the gym with their bodies, but their minds are somewhere else.
Absolutely. It's just about, I think it's just human beings. We are about yesterday and tomorrow, right? And being present is meditating. And you don't have to meditate in a room, but if you are in a present moment here and now, it's meditating. So I kind of tell people about like, hey, you go to the church on Sunday, you go to the temple on Sunday, but it's not about what you do that one day for that 1 hour. It's about what you do the next 7 days for the next 24 hours. It's about a way of being. When you are here, when you are now, you're going to make the shot. When you're thinking about the shot that you missed, or the next shot, or the timeout, that's when you're going to miss, because you are not, your mind is somewhere else. That means you're in a monkey mind. That means you're not working well. So, like you said, being present is mental health. Being present is where the magic happen. And if you could show our athletes where the magic happen is now, they'll just understand LinkedIn, and that's when the habits are easy to break. Because when they go to get their milk, the guy with the inflammation, they're like, oh, I am doing a habit because in the present moment, I know this milk is not good for me. Not only that, Roberto, we talked about inflammation. My personal inflammation pill is meditation. My best inflammation pill is quietening my mind. That means not yesterday, not monkey mind yesterday, not monkey mind tomorrow. If I'm here and now, my inflammation's gone, my sleep is gone, my CGM is good, right? I'm at inner peace. I'm healing instead of digesting, instead of working. I'm resting.
Do you have a meditation routine? I'm really
I
curious
do.
about it because I've started meditating maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Nothing crazy, just 10 minutes a day in the morning. I feel great, super energized after it.
I think meditation is supposed to be like that. Super energized, gotta be nothing crazy because I want to meditate when I'm in a stoplight, when I'm waiting for the bus, when I'm in the bathroom, when I'm walking and grounding. So my meditation, so yeah, I start first thing in the morning when the alarm goes off. I meditate for 15 minutes, and then I meditate 1 hour before I go to sleep. That's my standard routine. Then throughout the day, I have a bell that goes on my phone every hour. It says ting. So I said, we don't have to chant, we don't have to dance. Like you said, be here now. Press play, not rewind, not fast forward. Press play. That's incredible feeling. So
Wow.
that's my meditative routine. It's really simple. Even a third grade could do it.
Sure. All right, Navin. And let's talk about the importance to lead by example.
I think for strength coaches, it's very important, right? For anybody, it's very important because it's a great way to be a role model. And that's a great way, not only for everyone else, but for us, you know? So I'm going to contradict myself a little bit. I don't lead by example, but the way that I do my life, I know people are watching and they're learning from it, if that makes sense. Even my athletes, right? So like I don't cuss, so nobody around me cuss because they know that's something that I don't do. Okay. And it makes me feel good because words matter, thoughts matter, bad words called bad inflammation, right? So since I don't do it, no one around me do it, or at least they try to modify, minimize. So I don't know if that being leading by example or like helping each other out, So I think that's who I am. I just go about doing my things, and I feel like others are like, oh, this is succeeding for him, and let me try it. So yes, I love to be a role model. At the same time, I not try to be a role model, but I end up being a role model.
Got it. Got it. It's very important to be inspiring for other people, to be inspiring for our athletes. I have a good friend of mine. He's also a basketball coach that always says that we're not in a performance business. We are in the inspirational business. We got to be able to inspire athletes. We got to be able to inspire fans. We got to be able to inspire our family.
Absolutely, that's a great quote. We are in the human business. We forget because in my 17 years in the NBA, it's all wins you're high, loses you're low, right? Five losses in a row, you're bottom of the barrel, like no one's talking, stress, like it's just basketball, right? Like, oh my God, like so much more to life. This is entertainment, and you guys are getting millions, 40 million, 20 million a year, right? Like, smile, enjoy, look around, be grateful, touch a fan, ask somebody how their day is, give a high five. It's not going to cost you anything to inspire and be a role model and be a great human being. Not only that, when you smile, you're healing yourself. right? We talked about it. The best medicine is in between the ears. So when we smile and we are kind and caring and loving as a normal human being, all of a sudden our on the performance on the court is high, okay, because we are higher life. We are off the court performance is even higher because we are great human being. People around us are going to be, it's boomerang, Roberto. What we put out is what we're going to get out, right? We are kind, loving, respecting, same thing coming to us. You know, we're gonna get more people like Isaac come into our life, and because it's who we are. We are just a reflection. I'm talking to you, but I'm seeing myself in you because I know you are just like me, and that's why we connect. So if you don't like the people in your life, well, change within you, because when you change, all of a sudden people around your life going to be new people, loving people, kind people, because we are just 100% reflection of mirror. So if an athlete treating you bad, or coach talking to you bad, or somebody talking to you bad, don't worry about it. Change within them. Give them so much love and kindness and compassion within your heart. It's a game changer.
It is, absolutely. Navin, what's that one book or one class or one course that really inspired you throughout your career?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I don't think there's something one. Roberto, I'm a learning junkie. I'm obsessed. Right now, I'm doing a doctorate and a PhD in quantum medicine. It's called Doctor of Natural Medicine. I'm listening to podcasts every day. I'm doing my schoolwork every day. I'm reading every day. Um, I feel like the books and videos and YouTube's coming into my life because of I'm telling myself, okay, this is what I want to learn, this is what I want to do. So for people listening to this, just be curious. We talked about before the show about going to athletes' performance. Well, if you're in Italy or Sri Lanka, wherever, if you can't have go there, but read about them. Just be curious. Just look and research, and that's just going to take you in a rabbit hole of this way. Then tomorrow, go in another rabbit hole. There's so much that we could access free online. We talked about inflammation. Google inflammation and see where that goes. We talked about nutrition. Google nutrition and see where that goes. We talked about breathing. We talked about mindfulness. So type it in, and that will take you to a podcast, YouTube, and something will resonate you and be like, oh, I get it. So you could look up that person and learn about more. Then you look up. So that's where I'm at, like right now.
Got it. Navin, a few more questions. I want to know, let's switch gears, and I would like to know your philosophy in the weight room.
On my life?
With athletes.
With athletes. You know what? It's actually a great question. My first year with the Redskins, my first day, my mentor is Dean Kleinsmith. He told me this. He said, Naveen, when an athlete comes through the door, you're going to put everything that you have in your hands on the floor. You're going to go to them because that's why you are here. If they are not here, you are not here. That means if they're not here, you wouldn't have a job. You are here to serve them, right? So to serve, and then my coach last year, Coach Scott Brooks, just randomly said, uh, lifeless giving. What can I give you? I want to serve you. What can I give you? I'm here for you. That's it. It's really simple. If I don't know, I'll ask somebody, but I'm here for you.
That's also one thing that I always tell my athletes. What can I do to get this thing right for you? Because at the end of the day, we are co-workers. When we work for professional athletes, we are co-workers. This is something that I heard from Corey Schlesinger last week, and he was telling that he's a co-worker. That's
absolutely
great.
Absolutely. Core is very smart. Absolutely.
Right, Navin, before we wrap up this episode, I would like you to leave our listeners with a last nugget of wisdom.
anything and everything is possible, and you are the creator of your own dreams and your own life.
Great one. Right, Navin, usually we finish off with 3 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
You need to answer on the spot. So, 3-1, favorite food?
Healthy food.
Favorite city?
Tough one. Anywhere with a beach.
Good answer. One single piece of equipment that you always want to have?
Like that I haven't had, or
No,
that
you
I
always
like.
want to have with you in your gym, in your weight room.
I would say a kettlebell, heavy kettlebell.
Okay, good one. All right, Navin, where can our listener find more about you?
Thank you so much for that. Since COVID, I started my own podcast. It's called 9 to Thrive with Navin. So it's really 9 minutes. That's one way. Number two is that I started an IG account. It's at Navin, Navin .het, Health, Energy, and Transformation. Number two. And then my website, navinhealth.com.
Thanks again. It was a very insightful episode. I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be connected with you, Roberto. Appreciate you.
Bye, Navin.